The food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when
Inedible.
I was here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
It's amazing.
Insane. That is the argument used. Why should we flood our country with other people? Well, chicken curry. Thousands of young girls get raped. Chicken curry.
Piers Morgan thinks that's a good thing so he can fill his fat gullet with foreign slop.
In any other country or culture, the systematic wiping out of the natives through an anti-democratic importation of a rival religion and ethnic group against the express wishes of the host population would be derided as ethnic cleansing or genocide. But in the United Kingdom, it's progress and evolution. And if white Christians dare speak up against it, we're immediately labelled as far-right racists. Well, this week, I believe the establishment consensus on this issue has been smashed by a furious public, as Piers Morgan actually said he would happily replace the white English population in order to have a chicken tikka masala. So just replace the word white there with Asian or black or African or Japanese and imagine the reaction. Let alone if you replace that word with Muslim. Morgan would never appear in the mainstream media again. But because he's talking about white English folk, he is celebrated. We've had enough, though. And this row has all been sparked by Tucker Carlson writing this piece for the international edition of The Spectator. The strange death of England. This is what it looks like when you lose. After his recent visit here this week, he concluded, so in Great Britain, if you were to say, wait, what the hell is this? This looks nothing like the country I grew up in. Guess who's going to arrest you? Your fellow Britons. The ones whose great-grandparents lived here, the whites. They're the ones enforcing this. They're the ones determined to eliminate themselves. This shocked tourists to London this week realised Tucker Carlson, wasn't exaggerating.
People, I'm in the heart of it. I'm in Whitechapel, London. I don't even know where the hell I am. I feel like I just ended up in some other country. There are hijabs to the left of me, hijabs to the right of me, hijabs in front of me, hijabs in back of me. This is another world. I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
Look at the businesses, Somalian restaurants, Islamic stores. I mean, it's endless. Islamic relief charities. This is England, guys. This is the United Kingdom.
As Keridis pointed out, tourists visiting Sadiq Khan's Islamic London for Christmas, shopping, walk out of Bond Street Station and are greeted with a haunting sound. No jingle bells or Christmas cheer, just Islamic prayer at full volume. This is not normal. Watch.
I was just about to say, man, I just come out Bond Street, Oxford Circus, I'm hearing the azan.
But for Piers Morgan, this is apparently all okay, because he never much liked trifle or beef Wellington or Yorkshire puddings when he was growing up.
You're saying that our culture has changed because we've had other cultures come here. Well, your position?
Well, it's not my position. It's a fact. And you just said at the beginning. So it's better. So what about British culture didn't you like and has been improved by new cultures?
Oh, not well.
Tell me, what didn't you like before? What are you glad is gone from the Britain you grew up in?
Let me tell you. If you came to London in the 50s and 60s, the food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when I was here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
Amazing. Some of the most expensive too. I wonder, is everyone eating there?
No, I can tell you.
I paid $1,000 for dinner last
You're
night.
a wealthy man leading a very wealthy lifestyle.
Holy shit!
Why don't you come with me? Come with me to Brick Lane. Come with me to Brixton. I'll give you a proper meal.
I love it. And you and I will go to the tough parts of town and eat street food. But
I can give you a great meal.
But are you really saying
I'll take you to the top end of Portobello Market. Right, you come with me. If you want to risk death walking up to Portobello Market, I'll take you and give you some street food and you'll spend £10.
Been to Portobello Market.
Now that quite rightly sparked outrage. Connor Tomlinson, who will be here shortly, responded, how many child rapes are worth that curry, Piers? Because that's not a hypothetical question. We're in the midst of unprecedented, unwanted demographic and cultural change and accounting for the completely optional crimes it is causing, do you really think the food is worth it? Lewis Brackpool of Restore Britain added, Piers Morgan essentially telling Tucker Carlson that it's fine for the English to be replaced as long as we get better restaurants as next level insanity. Not even flinching at the idea that an entire ethnic group, any group for that matter, could vanish just to satisfy a culture of gluttony is evil. Now, Andy the Gabby responded, when people have a gaff in another country and can come and go at will, it's very easy for them to say, and of course Piers does, in Los Angeles. Lewis then added, hating British food has become a liberal psyop to justify mass immigration. Piers replied, I do love a good curry. Lewis kept pushing back, writing, I do too, Piers. But to think it's fine for the English population to be replaced over a vindaloo is genuine insanity. I do hope you change your mind before it was too late. There was more reaction, watch.
The food was crap. Absolute crap.
Well, it was that way in the 80s when
Inedible.
I was here.
Right. Now we have some of the best gastronomy.
Amazing.
Insane. That is the argument used. Why should we flood our country with other people? Well, chicken curry. Thousands of young girls get raped. Chicken curry. And I know this might shock a lot of people. You're going to want to be prepared for this. But me, as an Irishman, I have made pasta before. I know. Crazy. I'm not Italian, but I know how to make pasta. And even crazier is I have made chicken curry before. Crazy. Absolutely shocking stuff. You don't need a million Pakistanis in your country to enjoy a kebab. I know this thinking might be crazy to people like Piers Morgan, but I would eat potatoes for the rest of my life if it meant my country, Ireland, was always home to Irish people.
And at that point, Piers unfortunately showed his true anti-white colours when Michael McCarthy wrote, they would have you replaced and your home country forever changed over a curry. Piers replied, there are a lot of white English people. I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. And sadly, this is now a common view amongst our liberal elites. Dan Wootton Outspoken is available as a podcast too. So to listen or watch us on the go, wherever you are, then please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And as a personal favour to me, please rate and review, as it really helps our independent show.
Are white people being replaced in the UK?
So what? So what? Wait, so what? Nobody's white.
Right.
Who's white?
Right.
Everybody's got a grandparent or a great-great-grandparent or a great-great-great-great-great-grandparent that came from somewhere else. So if we want to insist that only white people can come here, who are they? Like, have we gone too far by the time you get to Russia? Like, do we want Russians? Just because you're born in a country, should you be destined to live your life out in, I don't know, poverty or injustice? Like, I don't believe that you should be denied opportunity because of the country you were born in. I think immigration is vital because without it you become a enclosed, closed-minded, shut down, culturally poor environment.
Is it any wonder they think this way? When we have millionaire celebrities, heroes in polite society like Bill Maher and Sharon Osbourne spreading propaganda that a white England was actually a very, very bad thing.
But in 1984, I remember walking around London, like, it was all white. It was all white.
But you go outside of London now, but now it's totally changed.
It went from, I read this in Andrew Sullivan's column, it went from, in 50 years, it went from 86% white to 36% white. Now, this is not a complaint. See, if we were conservatives, this would be like a lament. Great.
It's a fact.
It's a fact,
it's a fact.
and it's a happy fact.
And if you can't discuss it...
Just don't tell me we're living in a year we're not living in. We're living in the year when London is mostly people of color.
Yes, it is.
And I'm applauding it.
Yep.
Happy for you. Happy for it.
Okay.
But let's live in the year we're living in.
It's... you go to Windsor Castle, okay? And the town, of course, is called Windsor. And it used to be, when I was a kid, all English tea shops with china, and everybody used to go there for afternoon tea. And you'd go to Windsor Park and watch some polo. And now you go around there, there's no more fucking tea shops.
Right.
None of that.
Right.
It's Arabic restaurants.
Right.
It's Jamaican restaurants. Right. It's Chinese. It is a complete and utter melting pot. And it's great.
Oh, and by the way, if we want Britain to be Britain or English to be English, according to Bill Maher, we're basically just old fogies.
And there's always going to be some people, and we can't hate them for it, who remember the tea shop, and that's their memories of their youth and where they first fell in love or whatever. And so they're going to be nostalgic for it. Mm-hmm. And that you can't hate them because they're like, I don't recognize my country anymore. Because in the Brexit vote, there was a lot of that. People said that. People who lived in England their whole life.
Course.
And the old village green England's like...
The traditional things have gone.
Right.
But we still have the royal family that is way too traditional. Right. It's way too. I love them, but they're way too traditional. It needs to cut back on the shit.
My message to those people is always, sorry, but that's life on Earth. Things change.
Nothing stays the same.
Nothing stays the same.
If you stay the same, you're left behind.
No, you don't have to like the change, but you can't just stand there in the middle of the street and go, stop. I am standing athwart change. It just doesn't work that way. Mm-hmm. Change is going to come, and it's going to roll over you. It's how you deal with it.
That's right.
You can move. You'll have to, maybe. Yeah. It's sad. Maybe it would be a better choice to try to adapt to what's new.
Well, guess who's moving, Bill Maher? It's not the old fogies. It's the youngsters. In fact, 693,000 have quit Britain over the past year, even as the government continues to import 898,000 here, including a record 101,000 claiming asylum, including the 36,000 in luxury hotels costing us £15 billion over the next decade. But of course, Piers Morgan doesn't want to talk about that, does he?
This was not a communist country, but I'm just saying Britain voluntarily joined the war. It was a war that you were not involved in, and you got in. But my question is, why did it destroy Britain? I don't understand. As the victor nation,
it didn't destroy Britain.
Well, look outside.
Look outside.
We're in the city of London.
Hang on. There's Tower Bridge. It's the Tower of London. Magnificent.
Well,
it
changed London.
Why do you look at this and see a wrecked country? I don't.
Well, I don't see an English country. So we're in the city of London now.
What do you mean there? What do you mean by that?
It's not. Well, people whose ancestors built Stonehenge are not here anymore. So the city of London is 36% white, and that's happened in the last, 40 years.
But England is about 70% white.
England.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it was 99% in 1945.
Okay, so we've evolved.
But you're on the way to becoming the minority in the country. So no one wants to say that. I think you can get arrested for saying that here.
Well, no,
that's not white supremacy. This is the indigenous population of the country.
Well, it's a statistical fact that I think by 2100, we will be a minority white country.
2063 as of today.
Well, I've read a bit later.
But these are dynamic numbers, so they change.
Yeah, but here's my question for you. So what?
Well, let me refer to the beginning of our conversation when you said that the people who live in a country define the character of that country. And then you said, yes, all the things for which we were famous and in which we had pride, like our stoicism, our concern for others, our tidiness, the cleanest country in the world now. It's pretty filthy. All those things change when you get new people moving there. You said that. I mean, you're the racist, not me. So I'm just using the parameters that you set. I
did not say that was down to
you didn't say
white people coming to the country.
Well, that's who lives
here. I don't believe that.
No, but that's what you said.
I said there was creaking pressure on public services.
No.
From the increased population.
You also maybe foolishly admitted the truth. You could get arrested for this, so I know the stakes are high.
Paul Joseph Watson wrote, Piers Morgan masquerades as based on every single safe milquetoast issue for the grift. Yet on every single major crunch issue is a complete and utter twat. Harrison Pierce added, in the end, Piers Morgan is a hack for the regime. He has the odd pop at the lowest hanging woke fruit, but he worships the civilization-destroying basics of the post-war West. multicultural pieties, a moral fetish for non-whites, and a gluttonous rights revolution well represented by his smug, podgy face. And Leo Kearse surmised, the moment war is back on our doorstep, Piers will have no shame in demanding that the same white English people he sneers at go overseas and die for a land he insists they have no claim to. But Piers wasn't done. There was more. Watch. But first, as we get older, you notice it. After a cold day, hard workout, even a long week, recovery just isn't as quick as it used to be, right? That bounce back factor matters. And it turns out the secret isn't luck, it's stem cells, your body's built-in repair crew. With age, that system slows down. Fewer cells, weaker signals, slower recovery. That's exactly why Qualia created Qualia Stem Cell. Think of it this way. Your cells are powerful. Qualia Stem Cell helps keep them that way. It's crafted with nature's heavy lifters, sea buckthorn, royal jelly, and more to support your body's natural repair system so you can keep moving, healing, and thriving. You don't have to accept slowing down. This is about supporting better aging by reactivating the systems that help you bounce back. And it's refreshingly simple. You take it just 4 days a month. So if you've ever felt like your body just doesn't bounce back like it used to, whether it's after a tough workout, getting sick, or just the wear and tear of life, this is for you. Qualia Stem Cell was designed to support your body's natural repair systems, helping you heal, recover, and keep going strong. And right now, you can try it for up to 50% off at qualialife.com/Dan. And here's a bonus. Use the code Dan for an additional 15% off your order. So that's QUALIA life.com/Dan. Your body's built to repair itself. Qualia just helps it do it that better. And a big thanks, by the way, to Qualia for sponsoring this episode of Outspoken. But now, back to the show.
But you said that when the people who live in a country change, so does the culture, which is like the most obvious. It's like when it rains out, it gets wet. That's not a controversial observation, but it's illegal here because it is true. And my only point is not against, I've already said, I like the Bangladeshis better than I like the liberal whites in your country. A lot more. They've never yelled at me. I'm not attacking them. I'm just saying the things that made Britain, Britain, England. Is there still an England? I have no idea. Those are going away because there are different people living here. And if you think that those are good things in the same way that the Swedes or the Chinese or the people in Burundi and Chad, they like their culture. It's their ancestors' culture. And now it's gone. And why can't we say that's bad?
Well, because you may think it's bad.
It's good?
I love living in a very multicultural
But you're rich. I mean, you're rich. And you go to the white parts of London, and they're exactly the same as they were when I was a child. I've been coming here for 50 years. They're exactly the same. What neighbor was saying is exactly the same.
Which do you think is a white part of London?
I'm not going to tell you.
Well, that's a little test for you. Which area of London do you think is white?
The one I'm staying in right now. The one where my relatives live.
Where?
I'm not going to say.
No, you don't want to say because you know that I'll immediately say, come on, there's loads of non-white people living there. There's no
By the way,
white,
I'm not against non-whites.
There's no exclusively white area of London. There's not.
And unfortunately, because of men like Piers and Tucker, who is rewriting history over World War II in real time, our elites no longer stand up for everything great we brought to the world. As Tommy Robinson wrote, the British Empire ended slavery. Say thank you and stop wallowing in alleged oppression. There's good and bad in history. Every culture, every race, every country has a dark past, and there was so much worse than the British Empire if you can be bothered to read up on history. I liked this from our friend Based and Bougie Watch.
The British Empire is the darkest shit ever. The Commonwealth, that's the darkest shit ever. British Empire, Commonwealth. That's literally England going to countries and destroying communities.
So Stormzy, you're from Ghana, right? So this is the destroyed state that Britain left Ghana in. Streets are clean, nice houses and cars everywhere. Just look at that, so destroyed. Oh my God. This is Lagos, right after the British Empire left. Look at the destroyed churches and the destroyed skyscrapers. How dare they build skyscrapers and churches for people to pray in? Look how they destroyed the streets. No heavy traffic, no 1 hour queues of traffic. They destroyed the streets so much that people were comfortable enough to walk barefoot. How dare they clean the streets? Look at how they destroyed Delhi, India. Look at how dare they build these trains and these buildings that still exist today, by the way.
Opening our face, it was better. Really? Our gutters were clean as what word will I use? Everything true. The gutters were clean.
But instead of celebrating that, celebrating what it's meant to be English, what the British Empire has brought to the world, suicidal empathy means it's now being left to foreigners to explain the perilous state we now find ourselves. This was Tucker's damning summary.
And here's what you recognize. The people of Great Britain are going through a series of crises, and they're all internal. Drug use, alcohol use, their appearance has changed. People are no longer as well kept. The streets, the landscape is not tidy anymore. It's got lots of litter and graffiti in some places. And to technocrats, these are not meaningful measures of anything. Who cares if you've got graffiti? Does that affect GDP? Oh, well, maybe, maybe not. But it's definitely a reflection of how people feel about themselves. People with self-respect do not tolerate public displays of disorder or filth or graffiti or litter because they care about themselves and their family, and they understand intuitively, as every human being does, that once you allow chaos and filth in your immediate environment, you are diminished. So you just don't allow that, and no healthy society does. But all through the West, these are not just features, they're defining features. All Western cities are filled with litter and graffiti and people who look like they didn't bother to get dressed this morning, but are instead wearing their pajamas in Walmart. It's not just in your town, it's everywhere in what we refer to as the West. The point that underlies all of this is a really obvious one that too few people say. This is the behavior of a defeated people. This is what it looks like when you lose. This is what it looks like when you're on your way out to be replaced by somebody else.
And now, Connor Tomlinson is here. And Connor, who is the host of Tomlinson Talks on YouTube, posted yesterday this very disturbing image, writing, photo taken today. This man was defecating behind Queen Caroline's Temple in Kensington Gardens near Hyde Park, a monument to King George II's wife who commissioned royal parks in the Serpentine Lake is now a toilet for third worlders. There are also homeless encampments in Hyde Park. We don't have to live like this. But according to Piers Morgan, Connor, that's just evolution. That's just evolution, and we should be happy about it.
Every day, Dan brings a brand new scene from the dystopian novel, The Camp of the Saints, which, was called the most racist book on earth until it turns out to have been proven right too soon. There's a passage right from the opening where there's a leftist gloating about the fact that a ship, the Calcutta Star, is about to bring 1 million Indians to Europe. And this is treated like an apocalyptic event when instead it's just an annual migration number in Britain now. But the quote goes something like, "Your civilization has no meaning to them. They will be tired, they will be cold, they will use your beautiful oak door for firewood." And that's what's happening to all of our monuments, our cities, our culture, our heritage, our identity, and our country. And Piers Morgan thinks that's a good thing so he can fill his fat gullet with foreign slop. Now, I've got lots of thoughts on this, but first let me just say, no, I think British food is wonderful. I think that everything from stews to desserts to roast potatoes to beef to lamb is excellent. It was actually quintessential to the nutrition of our people that made us higher IQ and in better health than most of the rest of the world, according to Alan McFarlane, who pored over our historical records stretching way back to the Middle Ages. So, yeah, agree with Lewis there, the tweet you've got on screen. It is just a psyop to get you to sell out your own civilization to demographic replacement. And so I don't care what cuisine Piers Morgan would prefer. I would prefer to have a country imparted off onto the children that I hope to have soon that is recognizable to the one built by my ancestors who made many sacrifices in order to sustain it. And so I absolutely despise what Piers Morgan said. And the thing is, the even more gross thing is, I don't think he actually believes it. I think that he just says whatever he can to drive outrage and clicks, because he knows that having just contentious clickbait slop produced on his channel, much like the sort of stuff that he claims to prefer eating, is what drives engagement, drives monetization, and so he's just a total attention hound. But whether or not it is sincere, it will be remembered as the sales pitch for not just demographic replacement that we voted against consistently in every election and referendum since 1974, but the ongoing and optional crimes committed against our people. There's a rape reported in London every hour, and over 50% of those are committed by foreign men. There are murders happening every single day, and those are just the ones that reach the headlines. Many more will go unreported by a man of no fixed abode, and then there are just the aesthetic crimes like the one that you saw and flashed up on screen, the photo that was forwarded to me by a family member yesterday. All of our monuments are just literally being defaced and defecated on by people out of spite or out of habit. And so that's one thing I will add as well. I like Tucker. I listen to his show. He's got an excellent interview coming up next week that people are going to enjoy from his time in Britain.
Oh, yes.
However, when Tucker says, "Oh, I like the Bangladeshis more than the white women," no, sorry, because even if our people are mistaken for a period of time, they are captured by ideology, we can recover from ideological capture. We can recover from economic impoverishment. We did in the 70s. Hungary did under the Soviet Union. We can't recover from demographic replacement. And so I'm afraid I don't care how much the Bangladeshis living in Whitechapel are nice and personable and polite. They don't share my language, they don't share my religion, they don't share my culture, they don't share my heritage, they will not reproduce my civilization. And so I have reached the point now where they just all have to go, I'm afraid. They have to go.
Now, this X post, which seems to have exploded this whole issue, Connor, I do think it is just worth looking at closely. Piers Morgan says there are a lot of white English people I would happily trade for a good weekly chicken tikka masala. Now, just imagine, Connor, for 1 second, if that word white were replaced by virtually any other ethnicity, any other religious group. You know, Muslim people, black people, Jamaican people, Japanese people. Piers Morgan would be cancelled. I mean, it is also time, is it not, for us to start standing up against blatant anti-white racism?
Yeah, this is ethnocidal rhetoric with humour as its window dressing. And I tweeted out in response to this, imagine if a Jewish Israeli news anchor had gone on air and said, "I'm happy to displace and trade 1 million Palestinians just to keep shakshuka." Well, Piers Morgan would have made a week's worth of clickbait debate content about it and farmed thousands of pounds in YouTube revenue. But when he says it about white people, it's okay and it's not an outrage at all. And if I may, Dan, respond on the other side to this with a very contentious comment, I'm sure, to the clips by Sharon Osbourne and Bill Maher.
Yes.
Now, it won't have escaped people's attention that, yes, they're very wealthy, they've got homes in Los Angeles, but both of them are Jewish. They are both Zionists, and they would not say the same thing if mass demographic replacement happened in Israel. The state of Israel would cease to exist if it were not majority Jewish. Even if they dip down by 10% with the flooding of their borders by their Arab neighbours, it would be considered an existential threat. So why do they have a completely different double standard for America, for Europe, and for Britain? Why do they not see the election of Zoran Mandani or Sadiq Khan as being an outgrowth, not of insane socialism or wokeism, but demographics? Why do they not see the rise in anti-Jewish hatred by the left as a consequence of demographics? And why do they not see, by the way, the rise of, for example, Nick Fuentes, who complains about mass demographic replacement and notes there are a lot of Jewish people involved in left-wing movements as a result of not just the demographic replacement they support, but the double standard that they, as Jewish people, put out there by saying Israel has a right to protect its demographics, but if white people are being replaced, well, that's something to celebrate. It just can't continue.
Oh, by the way, and Piers Morgan now says, oh yeah, I'm going to be really brave and interview Nick Fuentes once, as people like Harrison Pitt and Paul Joseph Watson were pointing out, once he's already been mainstreamed by Tucker Carlson. There's nothing brave about that, Piers. It would have been brave if you did it 2 months ago. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.